Hey there, it's Trisha. I was going to do a different type of video tonight. I was going to do the entries that set up today, but I got a lot of email requests after the video that I got out for yesterday asking how to overlay the moving average from the broader view chart onto the entry chart, and also a bunch of questions about the counter move entry setup as well. So I thought I would go ahead based on how you do it in Sierra and show you step by step. And even if you're not using Sierra, hopefully you can figure it out with whatever you're using based on what you see on screen, what I'm using. So hopefully you can figure it out in Ninja or TradeStation or whatever you're using. So if you have any questions once you see the video, you can always send me an email and I'll be happy to help. But I don't know of the indicator that you would look for in Ninja or TradeStation or Thinkorswim. But like I said, hopefully you can figure it out. So I'm just going to show you here on the NQ. It doesn't really matter what I show you it on. You can do it on the time-based chart, a tick-based chart. It doesn't really matter on the Russell, on the ES. I'm just going to show you here. So what I want to do is, here's my broader view, and this 9 weighted that's right here is the one that colors based on the slope. I want that to be overlaid onto my entry chart. And so how I do that is I just click on my entry chart to make it active, and then I go to Analysis and Studies, and then on the studies available I scroll down to find under S Study Price Overlay, and I add it to my group, and then I go to Settings, and then I'm going to leave this as yes, synchronize yes, multiplier 1, I don't do anything with those. This I'm going to change to yes, this I'm going to change to yes, and right here, Study to Overlay, I'm going to find the chart that I want to overlay my 9 from. So I want to take it from this chart here, which is my 1597, and you'll see it here is chart number 21. So on my list here, I'm going to look for NQ 1597, chart number 21. So I click on that, and then here from the drop-down list, I'm going to choose the moving average weighted. That's the moving average that I want to take from this chart and also have it show on my entry chart. And then under chart region, I need to change that to 1, and you're going to get a notice here saying that if it doesn't display correctly, change the scale, etc. Just don't worry about it, just X out of it. And then hit OK and OK, and now you can see it there. And so exactly how it is on the broader view is exactly what you're going to see here. So like for example, you'll see it pink here. That's because it's pink here. If you decide that you want to change the colors of it, you have to do it on your broader view. So whatever changes you make to that moving average on your bigger chart, then you will be able to do it. It'll just automatically happen on that chart. Okay? In reference to the counter move entry, and I'm just calling it that. You can call it whatever you want. Basically what it is it is an entry, and just ignore these lines. I'll try to do another video tomorrow for the entries, but you can see the 9 weighted from the 1597 right here, and so you can see all the space created between price and that 9 weighted, and we know that price will typically find its way back to the moving average, any moving average, or price will stall until the moving average finds its way back down to price. So after you have a large move, in this case a large move lower, and you see that you have a lot of space created between price and that moving average here, when you get the MACD in this case crossing above 0, and none of the settings are different, all the settings that we use for our indicators remain the same, nothing changes, but when you get it crossing above 0 here, and you've got the slope on our moving average here on the 1-point range chart, coloring green, basically telling us the slope is going higher, and you're getting that, then you can look to buy that and then hope that it fills that distance between price and that moving average. Now, I would not do every single one that sets up. It's important to remember a couple things. Important to remember that it's only after a decent sized move in one direction, and then you take it in the opposite direction. The other thing that's important to remember is to make sure that this moving average is coloring based on the slope. Now, on the 1-point range chart on the NQ, quite a few months ago I made the change to a 30 weighted just because it colors faster than the 22 EMA. And I did let everybody know that, but if for some reason you didn't get the information, I'm using a 30 weighted here. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever on the ES, the Russell, or if you're trading off the 1.5-point range chart on the NQ. It only seems to make a difference on this 1-point range chart on the NQ. So then you buy it and you take however you want your targets. Here, move lower. Notice the distance here. Now, what's really important, and this hopefully won't get people into trouble, but like here, you know, yes, you had a move here, but notice you don't have a lot of space between price and that 9 weighted. So the key is always going to be this. How much space is there? And if you look at it on a 1/2-point range chart on the NQ, you'll have more space and you'll have more of those setting up. But very important, again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but it is really important to make sure that you've got space. Make sure that you've got the slope of that, in this case 30 weighted, coloring for higher. You get your indicator crossing above 0 and you take it. And make sure that you're doing it right after a move, a strong move in one direction or the other. So, for example, here you get a move higher, and here you get this MACD crossing below 0. But in my opinion, this isn't really a lot of space, so I would pass on that. And of course, it's going to be subjective. You know, how much is enough space, and you'll have to decide that for yourself. But just mess around with it and see if you like it. Here, for example, yes, this moved higher, but notice here, our moving average on our entry chart, that 30 weighted, has not started to color with the slope yet. It's still green, so you'd pass on it. Okay, and here I wouldn't do it. Even though it worked, I wouldn't do it because it has to happen right after the initial move, or pass on it, not the initial move, a pullback, and then a tiny little move, and then you take it. The idea is to capture the counter move right after a large move in one direction or the other. So I hope that helps, and definitely practice that counter move setup. And it might not fit your trading plan. It's just something that I'd noticed a while back, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I had a 1/2-point range chart on screen. And you know, some days the 1/2-point range chart will work just fine because price is moving slow enough. Now, like this morning, for example, around the news at 10. There's no way that you could have traded off a 1/2-point range chart. It was hard enough to trade off a 1-point range chart. So it doesn't matter if it's a 1/2-point range chart, a point and a half. The key is the room between price and that 9 weighted moving average from the broader view chart. Okay, so have fun with it and let me know how it goes.